Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of my Cedar Point Recreation Park. In the last episode we worked on building the midway and the skyride and getting the basic foundations of the layout there for that done. So today I want to focus on finishing up the layout of the midway. There are a couple flower beds we didn't finish, getting to the entrance, building a little bit of the entrance plaza, and just building out some more of our plans for where some buildings and rides near the front of the park are going to go. Specifically, we're going to look at the area around the Kitty Kingdom, which is the kiddie ride section near the front of the park. Not a section of the park that I'm very familiar with. Don't really ride those kiddie rides. I don't think I've ever been on any of them, even when I was a kid. I'm not too familiar with that area, but fortunately there's a lot of photos and everything of that area, so it shouldn't be too difficult to get a handle on what's going on over there. One thing I didn't mention last time is I'm using Google Maps as my primary reference source for a lot of this. Google Maps does handily have a 3D view for a lot of amusement parks, including Cedar Point. So it's pretty easy to get a comprehensive idea of the layout of the entire park. Just by looking at it in Google Maps, you can pan the camera around, look at everything in 3D. Which makes it a lot easier to translate it into Roller Coaster Tycoon. So that's like super handy for making recreations like this. So we're getting some stuff laid out here near the front. The red tile that I'm using all over the place, the red grid, basically just means that there's going to be a building there. Don't want to waste a bunch of time making these buildings just yet. Like I said last time, I want to make sure I have the layout pretty much solidified before I get too crazy with making buildings and making terrain. I did go ahead and make a little lake here for the Ocean Motion swing ride, pirate ship ride. Maybe that's a little premature, but it seemed like a good time to do it. Did a little decoration on that as well, but it'll probably get nuked and redone at some point in the future. So the rides in Kitty Kingdom are mostly like merry-go-round type rides, very small rides that just spin you in a circle. I'm planning on shoestringing some of these. For the most part, I think probably the easiest way to do it, especially if I want to keep them really small. I don't think I'm going to build all of them just because there might not be enough room, but we can definitely get quite a few, especially if they're like 2x2. We can definitely get quite a few of them in there. Well, a lot of the buildings that you're seeing me playing out here with the red grid are backstage kinds of buildings, staff areas. Most of this stuff isn't customer facing. You're not going to see a lot of this on your everyday visit to the park. You know, we see some loading zones, drop-off areas, maintenance, things like that. So when we do build these, there's going to be some guesswork as to what the backs actually look like. They're probably going to be pretty hard to find some decent photos, but that's fine. I'll probably be doing some guesswork on those anyway, just building them in a way that whatever looks nice. So I figured this was also a good time to start work on our first roller coaster, which is going to be Gatekeeper, simply because the part of the park that we've been plotting out here on this side here near where Max Air is and the bumper cars, it's pretty close to the Gatekeeper station, and Gatekeeper does go over the front of the park too, so that's as good a time as any to kind of connect those things together with a big ride. As I mentioned yesterday, we are going to be going with the four-dimensional coaster trains for Gatekeeper just because they look the most like it, even though the guests are going to be facing backwards. That's something that we're going to have to live with for now. It'd be cool if I could figure out a way to turn the trains around somehow. I don't know if that's even possible to hack, but maybe sometime in the future we'll figure that out. But for now, I'm happy with the way things are looking. We are taking a few creative liberties with the Gatekeeper layout. There is a point near the turnaround at the end of the layout where the track crosses over itself in real life, but just wasn't enough room to do that in RCT. Not a huge deal. It's something I can definitely live with. We are also missing the corkscrew. It's a large diagonal corkscrew, which definitely doesn't exist in the game. So I just replaced it with a hill. It's kind of disappointing that that's what we have to do here, but I feel like this is definitely the solution that's going to look best for now, rather than trying to shoehorn in a corkscrew where it doesn't fit. But what's nice about this is it does let us get the mid-course brake run in a way that doesn't look awful. The real life brake run is on the diagonal, and obviously we can't do that currently. But I did manage to squeak it in after the second barrel roll in a way that flows pretty nicely and does wind up with a layout that I think has some pretty good operations. So I'm pretty happy with the way that this Gatekeeper turned out. I think it also got some pretty good stats too. I think something like 7, 7, and 3. No, I normally don't really care about stats that much, but you know, it's nice to look at those and see how they go. And all things considered, the entrance building, I feel like doesn't look too terrible. I had some concerns going into this build about getting the entrance plaza to look okay. It's got a circular shape to it and some building shapes that don't really work on a grid. But with the pieces we have, I think things turn out okay. I did build a little ride for the customer service ticket queue area. Hopefully that would make peeps line up for it once they get in the park at the customer service booth. Not sure if that's gonna work. I wasn't able to get peeps into the park. Something messed up with my park save file, and or something's bugged. I'm not really sure what happened where I am not able to actually get peeps in the park. They'll turn around at the entrance. So working on getting that figured out. So won't actually be able to test these rides yet. I was hoping to get some peeps in here now that we have a few actual rides that are open and running, but I guess we'll have to save that for another day. But all things considered, I'm pretty happy with how things have gone today. I think we're going to end here with a little ride on Gatekeeper. Hope you enjoyed this episode, and if you have any thoughts, comments, suggestions, let me know in the comments.